Hey y'all, it's been a while. If you are new here, I have been channeling messages on this channel for a really long time and I had to take a little break. We're in a new environment, okay? I'm still unpacking. Life is changing, things are changing, and I personally wanted to get back into at least doing these every once in a while. Because it's a good energy check-in for myself as well. I use these readings. Again, if you're new here, there is a playlist, and I like to go to the playlist on our channel and just hit the shuffle button, and whatever reading pops up, choose a pile. Also, if you're new to listening to readings, remember that guided messages and anything you hear, even if it were a friend or a mentor, everything should be processed through your own discernment. Always listen to your own intuition above all else. And, these are supposed to be like just a little bit of confirmation and guidance of what your intuition is already telling you. So, if you hear anything that's not really resonating with you, don't take it too seriously. Don't take it personally. Only take what resonates and leave the rest. I'm back with the banner for the people who are not new here. I used to use this banner and I really like it, so I'm glad to be reusing it. So today we have 4 piles. And again, there's tons of readers on this platform. There's tons of readers in the world. I am familiar with pretty much all of the clairs. So I do use those abilities here. I'm human. I'm only a person. So again, only take what resonates, and you can always find a different reader if it doesn't resonate. If you'd like a live reading with me, if you happen to pop in during this live, as always, I will channel for you live. I do require a $10 donation, or if you want to donate a little bit more, that would be great. So yeah, that is available to you. Otherwise, enjoy this free reading. We have 4 piles to choose from. The first pile is the Thoth Tarot. The second pile is the Modern Witch Tarot. The third pile is the Vision Quest deck. And the last one is the Ethereal Visions Tarot. Again, if you're new here, just take a deep breath. Go to the pile that you feel most drawn to. You may be drawn to more than one, and that's okay. Some people listen all the way through, so either think of a number, pile 1, 2, 3, or 4, or try to look at the cards and see which one pulls you in more. Let's go ahead and jump into pile number 1. If you are no longer live with us, the timestamps will be down below. Okay, let's get into pile number 1. You chose the Thoth Tarot. Looks like this, just to make sure you're in the right space. I'm hearing call back your energy, and Spirit is reminding you to remember that you're in a position of power. You may be working on your internal feminine and masculine energies at this time, but specifically related to your religious, spiritual, or universal beliefs. So you might be strengthening your connection with, internal discipline, the way that you view the world, the way that you channel or deal with if you feel like you're an intuitive person, how you deal with your psychic and intuitive abilities. And it's really, I'm hearing to be grateful at this time. It's really important that you are taking the keys of wisdom or knowledge that are being handed to you by the universe, to really ground some sort of wisdom that is being kind of bestowed onto you, like you were always meant to have this understanding or wisdom, and Spirit is really calling you to the forefront to embody that in a masculine way, meaning having discipline, but also in a feminine way, meaning having that knowing and inner standing or self-assurance. This is also part of like your maturation process, your developmental process. And I think it's also helping you move through this more superficial perspective of life of, seeing things at a very superficial level, giving into any, greed, envy, jealousy, things like this. Because Spirit really wants you to enjoy the things that you have, your possessions, enjoy life. And you cannot enjoy something if you have this insatiable hunger for the next best thing or what someone else may have. You can't really just be present and be secure within yourself, right? So it's really important, again, to embody some sort of spiritual wisdom that Spirit knows that you have, and lead with confidence in some way. Call back your energy. We'll go back to that message. So let's get into the cards. The first one you have is the Sun, and you may be working in collaboration with one party or multiple parties, and if so, whoever these people or this person that you're working with, you guys get to celebrate in something that brings you a lot of joy and even brings out your inner child. So right now we're really focusing on lightening things up, making things really pleasurable, but you're doing it with someone else, it seems. There's like 2 people on this card, and their wings are moth's wings. And there's also around this card is a bunch of the zodiac signs. Sorry that this might be a little blown out, but the zodiac signs are all the way around this sun. So as you're moving through this year, maybe there was a lot of transformation work, but in maybe a lot of dark periods. Right now is not one of them. Right now you're kind of stepping into this sunshine. There's also this mountain that it seems like they've overcome. So really celebrate in the small things, the big wins, the small wins. Someone may make jewelry or work with like resin. I'm also hearing cobblestone. I don't know if we have homeowners in the chat, but I'm hearing cobblestone, something like this. Something having to do with the home as well, making it a pleasurable space where you feel safe to create, to be optimistic, and to shine. So there might be some area where you are overspending. This could be worry. This could be you might be worrying a little bit too much. And this could also just be overspending financially. So make sure you're careful of that, especially at the time of me channeling this. It's Leo season, but my readings are timeless. So whenever you find it, make sure you're paying attention to what's going in, what's going out, but also on an energetic level. What are you giving energy and attention to? Again, we have these two people collaborating, and in this card, there's a third person. It looks like they're going to this person for a little bit more insight. So don't be afraid to ask for help and ask for clarity, especially like if you need a financial advisor or if you need to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask someone that you think may have more expertise in the area. So collaboration is important, and maybe you might be learning something important at work, just generally, as you collaborate with others. Maybe divvying up the responsibilities in a way that is helpful to you, that doesn't feel stressful, that feels really playful and light. Again, it is a fire season, Leo season. This card can be associated with like Leos or Scorpios or Aries individuals that have a more Martian or hot energy. So this Princess of Wands, she is usually seen as a young woman who is kind of on a spiritual journey, and what makes a spiritual journey a little bit different than maybe a religious journey is that it is less about perfectionism and judgment and more about embracing the mistakes and the hiccups in life and seeing them as divine guidance as well, seeing the hardships and the things that aren't so great in life as a part of the divine plan of reshaping the self and learning learning through the process. So the Princess of Wands, she may be young, she may be a little naive, but she is an alchemist, and that is why she is depicted with a wand and with a tiger. She has grit and integrity. So Spirit is reminding you to trust your intuition because it is really on point right now. And whatever they're telling you intuitively is a part of some sort of developmental process that we talked about, some sort of maturation process that is essential. So don't be so critical or judgmental. Lean into your vigor and integrity at this time. So do you need to refine some boundaries? Do you need to address any issues? Do you need to ask for help? Really ask yourself and contemplate on those things, because whatever adjustments can be made or learning can be done is going to contribute to whatever you're trying to call in or manifest. Also towards your self-confidence. Okay, so we have this, again, this is the same card as before, just a different deck. I use these little ones to just clarify what I'm picking up. And again, we have this triangulation. We have the three parties. So I think you may be looking to some sort of mentor in the workspace, or you may be drawing from inspiration from somewhere else, especially if you work in a partnership. So really be open to meeting new people, to collaborating. Also maybe focusing more on your work or your studies at this time, focusing on how you're going to create more stability, more security, things like this. That should really be your focus at this time. And you might find that you are finding new ways to approach whatever it is that you're working on or building on at this time. So be open, listen to your intuition, but also trust when you feel something isn't right. So if you're having any feelings of FOMO around a project, or maybe even feeling left out of something, like a project, or left out in a work sphere, remember that you are your most important investment. You are your most important job at this time, especially as the Princess of Wands. Whatever soul journey that you're on, whatever you're building in your world, whatever you're creating for yourself is teaching you some sort of spiritual things that will turn into financial things, but maybe right now you're feeling a little bit left out. You're feeling a little bogged down. We have this 9 of Wands, which is usually like someone who's trying really hard, putting in the effort, fighting for something, and it's been a really difficult, hard time, especially recently, and you feel a little bruised, but you have to remain strong, even if you feel like you're standing alone. So don't let the FOMO get the best of you, especially if there's been lots of ups and downs, whether that's within a workspace or within some sort of collaboration or creative pursuit that you are focused on. I think also it goes back to being aware of greedy behaviors, if you're seeing it, if it's being projected onto you, or if you're participating. You really want to approach life with a joyful and lighthearted spirit as much as you can. Otherwise, we're giving into this insatiable drive that, is going to leave us feeling more resentful in the end. Don't feel like you're getting the short end of the stick. You're really getting your shit together at this point, and having that, half the glass half full mindset is really going to help. So now we're at the part of the reading where we just finish up with the big cards, with the oracle, and we just get our final messages to see if there's anything that I left out of this channeled message that could be important for you, pile number 1. I'm hearing preserve your energy. Like maybe you've put in a lot of effort. So yes, that's why Spirit is saying you're overspending. That's why they're saying that. There was a lot of effort put in, and maybe you're not supposed to keep pushing. You're supposed to be open to receiving more guidance, and also remembering that you've already put in enough work. Now just be open to more collaboration. And also I'm hearing, yes, being open to collaboration. They're saying seek guidance. My guides are saying to tell you to seek guidance. Is there a mentor you could ask more questions to? Is there a friend who has expertise in the area? Is there a book you could look up? Is there a, podcast you could listen to? Be open at this time to navigate. And Spirit's like, remember, you're not naive. You're remembering. You are not naive. You're remembering, especially for my young folks that are listening, but even like my older audience, age is literally a number, not in the negative sense, but in a positive sense. Remember that, if you feel this sense of, I don't know, maybe it's FOMO or underdevelopment. It could be a bit of like imposter syndrome. Remember, if there's anything that you're not an expertise at, it's probably meant to be that way so you can build strength. Maybe not what you want to hear, but maybe what you need to hear. One more oracle for pile number 1. Also, someone is working on their throat chakra or their self-expression. Maybe you had a vulgar person around you, maybe in childhood, maybe in recent days, maybe it was a partner. So make sure you're clearing your throat chakra blockages. Make sure you're speaking your truth when you're given the opportunity. So we have the Strength card. This says strength, stability in this hour, endurance, stamina, I empower. So you're working on your self-esteem and empowerment. This is not a time to give up. It's a time to embody strength. And that doesn't mean overcompensating. Remember that. Strength is subtle. She just is holding her wand to manifest, to do the alchemy, to alchemize, and her shield to stand strong. So it's not about fighting or fighting back. It's not about pushing or forcing. Just be strong. So we have you are limitless. Recognize this truth. You can do anything you choose to do. So someone's dealing with imposter syndrome and you're feeling limited by your circumstances. And especially if this is like a project or something you're collaborating on with others. It could be like childhood issues resurfacing that make you feel stunted in your growth. And Spirit is reminding you that that is an illusion. That's a limit, right? You are limitless. So we have prosperity lies ahead. As I'm filming this, there's going to be another full moon, and it's in Leo. Leo is also tied to abundance, similar to Taurus, similar to Libra. So really tap in with surrendering any limitations at this time, setting some affirmations, visualization, doing any healing work that surfaces, and remember that there's more ahead to look forward to. Don't get stuck. We have the castle. So you are embodying the archetype of the castle at this time, or this is what is suggested. This is what to tap into. The castle is someone who is really secure in themselves, who knows themselves and is very self-validated. They will choose themselves over participating in anything that they don't agree with. They're very sturdy and consistent. But maybe you might be spending more time at home. You might be resting a little bit more. So yeah, think of like a safe haven. That's the castle card. Also, I personally have like a visual journal, and these look like scrapbooks. So maybe you should be pouring some intention into something creative. That's what this reminds me of. All right, Spirit, any last messages? They're saying do not ignore your intuition. So if this reading resonated, don't keep bypassing your internal system, your intuition. If something feels off, choose yourself. I'm also hearing adorn yourself, like this. There's pearls all the way around this eye, and even the eye has jewelry. So make sure you're showing up fully. It's also a way to create security. They just keep saying adornments, fashion. Your sense of fashion is also how you're going to create a sense of like embodiment and security. I think I'm going to leave it at that. And there is something that Spirit is asking you to get started on. Maybe you need a little bit more rest, maybe a little bit of introverted time, and then you need to begin on something. It could be creative, it could be work related, but really moving beyond the sense of like stress or overcompensating imposter syndrome first. Thank you, pile number 1. If this resonated, could you comment down below a rose or a pink flower? And I hope to see you back on this channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if this resonated. It really helps out our channel and it means a lot to me. I'm going to go ahead and move on to pile number 2. Okay, pile number 2. The minute I got into this pile, my hands started to feel like my wrists area started to feel super numb. So I don't know, pile number 2, do you work with your hands? Are you like a writer? Do you like to journal? Whatever you do it with your hands. And maybe spirit is thinking like you need to do more like stretching your wrists in the morning, rolling out the wrists, giving your arms and your hands a little bit more love and attention, and rest, I would say. So there's exhaustion, and I'm feeling it in my hands. So I don't know if you work with your hands. I'm not sure, but that's what I was feeling for you, pile number 2. This sense of like exhaustion. You chose the Modern Witch Tarot. Just want to make sure you're in the right pile before we keep going. Maybe pile number 2, you're moving on from a very exhausting or stressful situation. Maybe a situation where you felt like distracted or manipulated by some sort of fake information or fake people. And it's put you in a very vigilant state where you are trying to be very logical, very practical, read through the details, read through the contract. You're very keen to things. And also I think you're in a position where you're trying to pivot after learning some new information or gaining some sort of confidence or clarity about something. So let's get into your cards a little bit more. We have this Page of Pentacles. And I'm hearing we'll go over it tomorrow. So, maybe you're reviewing some things. You could be studying. You might be planning something new. And maybe there is this a little bit of overworking because you're nervous, maybe exhausted. You could be a little tired, so it's causing you to have unnecessary fears. And make sure you're paying attention to how you feel right now, especially when you're trying to ground something, you're trying to get organized or be focused with something, you're trying to learn something. Make sure you're paying attention to how you're feeling, because that's going to contribute to a greater sense of exhaustion. So Spirit's like asking you to calm your nervous system at this time, because you might be expecting more negative outcomes that are possible. So it's going to be better than you expect, and you're not going to be able to tap into that sense of calm if you are, too focused, a little too vigilant. But keep the ambitious spirit about you. Remain ambitious, but know when to act. Know when to take action or to say what you need to say. Yes. So that is this clarifier. This is the Knight of Swords, and he is someone who is very ambitious, very mentally focused. So it's important to know when to take action and when to exert energy. So we have this 5 of Swords here. So again, feeling a little bit defeated, feeling like there's snakes in the grass, feeling like you're not sure who to trust. So there's the ending of a cycle where you feel like things weren't going in your favor. I'm hearing trauma and I'm hearing drama. And to clarify this, we have this Wheel of Fortune, and it is in the reverse. So maybe you were expecting some sort of good luck in a circumstance, but it winded up being the opposite. It feels like it was like something that might have stunted your growth. And so you're just reminding you that you're coming out of this. This cycle has completed and it is over. And whatever you feel like you didn't acquire, you were not meant to. You were not meant to. Maybe someone else acquired whatever it was that you felt like you were trying to ground. And you weren't meant to have that specific thing, because I think whoever was in charge was more concerned with things that do not involve you in a healthy way. So whatever that cycle was, it's over. And there is a little bit of feeling tricked, a little bit of feeling deceived. So we have this Three of Pentacles. This cycle was meant to teach you how to detach from the outcome. Value the experience of whatever it is that you're creating or building at this time, especially if it's work related, or with having to do with your finances. If there was an expectation that you held on to, or a situation that you invested into and you felt like you didn't get what you wanted, again, I can't stress enough, the cycle is over. So if you're holding on to it, it's going to feel worse. It's going to feel worse. You really have to focus on, I'm hearing the pursuit, and enjoy the pursuit. Enjoy the process. There is a lack of detachment. So this card says, love without condition, talk without bad intention, give without reason, and care without expectation. So there were expectations that were meant to help you shed some sort of egoic angle or toxic attachment. Something that wasn't, I'm hearing trauma. So if you were trauma bonding, if you were, codependent on something, it's going to help you alleviate a shadow attachment that is not necessary anymore. So it's a positive thing. And I think that this is going to help you focus on your studies, or focus on your income, or focus on your work in a way where you're enjoying what you're doing because you love what you're doing. So you are having a bit of an ego death, or like shedding of a version of yourself, or a part of yourself that isn't helpful. So this card says everything is fine, and it's the Ten of Swords. So this is that feeling backstabbed energy, feeling like you've hit, rock bottom. And Spirit is like, the best part about rock bottom is you can only go up from there. And literally everything is going to be fine. So there is a gift in this situation. There is a positive reward. And I think if you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss out on that. And it's very nuanced, but it's you stepping into your power. It's you acknowledging how you can be more independent, how you could rely on spirit a little bit more, rely on detachment a little bit more, maybe your femininity a little bit more. So this is the Nine of Pentacles. This is like a single woman who is financially stable on her own. She's reaping the benefits of just being magnetic and aligning herself to the outcome she wants, right? So this is like a naturally lucky person, and someone who has high esteem and knows their value. And you can be a man and still radiate this feminine energy or quality. There is some sort of sorrow or disappointment around whatever you do creatively or for work, right? That's the Ace of Cups in reverse. Feeling like, my cup is empty and I'm having to invest more than I was expecting to. But either way, it's going to be a positive new beginning. But make sure, again, you're acknowledging how you feel. Because the moment you accept those feelings, that's where the self-worthiness is building, and that's where we're building esteem, and that's where we're allowing ourselves to become magnetic again. So there is a gift in this, and it might have to do with healing. It could be healing from like a relationship that began and then didn't turn out how you wanted it to, and now you're feeling like, well, I have to keep going, I have to keep building, I have to keep working. Or maybe feeling like relationships are hard work, or the relationship with myself is a lot of hard work. But Spirit is reminding you there are rewards for that sort of work. So don't give up, especially if you felt, manipulated or lied to. It's not a sign to give up. You're building something that is going to increase your magnetism at this time. Stay with me here. Let's get some more oracles to confirm this message, anything I might have left out. This could feel like a big transition in your life, especially if you've already gone through something kind of difficult. It's very easy to sit in that energy and be like, well, that's all there is, and nothing good is going to come my way. So maybe you did need this little pick-me-up message to remind you yourself, like, all bad things come to pass, and there might be trauma tied to it, so it feels really real, right? So let's acknowledge those feelings. But this is definitely a time of letting go, shedding things, maybe having a bit of an ego death and detachment. Let life surprise you. Spirit is saying to bring your childlike qualities to the forefront and stay out of other people's mess. Maybe you got too close to the wrong person. Make sure you're staying out of, other people's stuff. Okay, here we go. We have the imagination card. I love this. This is great to build on. So we have imagination. Imagination now sets me free. Divine ones, I send my thanks to thee. So remember, I believe in telepathy because I've experienced telepathy. Hi, Sharon. Welcome to the chat, girl. I want to heart your message. I don't know if I can, but hello. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. So I believe in telepathy. It's important to be in control of your mind. That's why people meditate. It's not to silence the mind, but it's to build discernment within the mind. You get to choose what you give energy to. So that's your imagination. And allowing your imagination to be free is essential. So the moment you're giving into trepidation or fear, you're allowing your imagination to be hijacked by past experiences and or surrounding people. So easier said than done. If you need to write, this girl is writing here. If you need to do something creative to let your mind relax, just do that. Do that thing that's going to give you a little bit of a fresh perspective. We have the forgiveness card. Nothing can be gained by holding on to past disappointments. So we talked about there's something that happened where it's creating this projection of fear into the future. And it could have to do with a partnership or relationship, because this is a couple here. And I'm hearing tenderness and care. So if there was a lack of tenderness and care, it's time to anticipate that there will be in the future, or to have a little bit more hope for the future, and start forgiving people for you. You forgive people for you. You don't forgive people for them. You're not people pleasing them and telling them it's okay what they've done. You're saying, I forgive you because I have to detach and I have to move forward and I have to expect new things in my life. Will I allow for that to happen again? No, I won't, right? So that is embodiment of commitment. Your commitment to yourself is being tested. And we talked about that. So how committed are you to this future? How committed are you to what you're building? And maybe you gave in to some sort of instant gratification or short-term expectations. But now it's time to redefine those expectations and hope for even better. Now we have the one. So some of you guys are here for love, but also this is potentially the energy that you're embodying. So if you feel like you walk into a space and all eyes are you are emitting some sort of ethereal or unique energy. This could also relate to being connected to source energy, oneness, feeling like you're tapped in, feeling like you're connected to nature and to source and to God. This is a very magnetic quality to embody. So if you are showing up as this archetype right now, that means that you're already doing this work. You just needed this confirmation that your intuition was correct, and you are showing up in this way. I'm hearing downloads. So some of you guys are very intuitive and telepathic, and you receive information from spirit, and you're hearing it in your clear audience or cognizance, clear knowing, things like this. So make sure you're paying attention to those things, and keep embodying this oneness with self, feeling whole, feeling complete. And maybe you're looking for other, like souls, right? And I think that is very normal, very natural. Maybe you just needed to hear that. So Spirit is just reminding you, especially if you've been giving in to any imposter syndrome or denial, that's okay, but it's time to detach a little bit and welcome a new phase in life, pal number 2. I hope that this reading resonated, and if it did, make sure you smash the like button, comment down below a candle, because there is a candle here, and I feel like a singular flame on this card does embody that oneness, right? We are a single flame together, and also fire also represents spirit. So that's why a lot of times people burn candles on their altar and things like this. Anyway, so comment down below a candle if that resonated, pile number 2. We're going to move on to pile number 3. Thank you for being here. It's been so long since I've done readings. I'm so happy to be back. Oof. Those all just hopped out. Oof. Okay. Okay. Dang. 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 Pile 3 is a little juicy. A little juicy. Ooh. Okay. Pile number 3, you chose the Vision Quest Tarot, which is a very beautiful deck. I have a feeling you're a beautiful person, pile number 2. I feel like I'm tapping in with my hot boys. I was hearing that song, like, I need a hot girl, but I'm hearing hot boys. And I'm also hearing Tyga's Make It Nasty. So maybe you were like a teenager when that song dropped, or you remember when that song dropped. But it's like, you might be like a little Casanova, pile number 3. So stay with me, even if that doesn't resonate. Maybe you could be watching about someone in this archetype, right? So you could take it as it resonates, y'all. So pile number 3, you are really focused on some sort of financial investment you're making or project that you're trying to bring to the light, or you're trying to strengthen at this time. You could be some sort of business owner. You could be some sort of like financial leader in some capacity, or project leader in some capacity. Sorry. You also are working on your throat chakra. You are blocked in your throat chakra. Your ability to communicate your ideas or your passions accurately and securely, and maybe you know this about yourself. You could be working on this. Make sure you're communicating authentically, especially if there's already something on your mind where you're trying to improve a situation. It could be a financial thing. It's going to be important that you are communicating authentically and clearly. So yeah, let's get into your cards. We have this Father of Fire. So this is a Leo king. You don't have to be a Leo. It just happens to be Leo season. You could be a fire sign, but you don't have to be. So this is someone who has a lot of yang, masculine energy, a very handsome, attractive person, very magnetic. Could be like someone who is seen as the center of attention, things like this. Having a lot of, especially talents, gifts, and abilities as well, that brings them into the spotlight in some capacity. There is something that you're aware of at this time that has to do with childhood trauma or trauma just generally that's kind of surfacing. Especially this fire is kind of near his like lower half of his body. So yeah, feeling it in your loins quite literally. Our root chakra is located down between our legs. So make sure you're addressing any childhood esteem issues or traumas at this time, because you want to be channeling your passion and your energy towards the right things. Especially, it seems like you're very focused and dedicated to investing into some sort of thing that you're trying to build for yourself, and it is important. You're very magnetic to it, but there is a blockage. It has to do with your throat chakra and how you communicate, how you express yourself. So yes, and it has to do with childhood trauma. We're taking it there. But if you're hearing it, that means you're ready to hear it. So if it's coming out in the cards, you're ready to hear this message. There's some sort of dissatisfaction with whatever's occurred recently. Again, I'm just hearing trauma. You feel dissatisfied with something and how it made you feel. It could be even the way something peaked in your life, but there is a new opportunity. So that is the beauty in doing healing work and removing blockages or addressing our internal world, is that we can then reassess the situation and welcome a new opportunity. So Spirit is saying there is going to be another opportunity, or there is one that you know about. Also, he has a bow and arrow and it's ready to go even though he's not using it. So again, maybe you felt like you ran out of opportunities, and Spirit's like, no, you are calling in the new opportunity. Be ready to shoot your arrow so you don't miss. And this time you won't miss, especially if you clear out any baggage. So here we have the 10 of Fire of oppression. So this is stress, this is feeling burdened, this is feeling heavy and weighed down. I think the concept of maybe opening yourself up to new people or a new romantic interest could make you feel really uncomfortable or shut down in some way. Maybe you see relationships as a burden, and they're saying childhood trauma. So you're learning how to open up again, especially to people in a way that is authentic, that's genuine, that is intimate, and real, right? And this exchange is going to feel reciprocal when done right. When you learn to, give energy to the right things, it is not a burden. So that is what you're meant to be learning. You're supposed to learn that when you open up and you heal and you open up with the right people and that energy is reciprocated, it can fill your cup. And even more so, this is the Six of Pentacles. You may even create relationships that benefit you on a financial level. So it may be more than just receiving the intimacy and emotional support that you need. It could be financial. So the more authentic you are, you could be creating a bond where you receive on many different levels, not just spiritually. So we have this Son of Fire, and you can see the Father and the Son as a father and a son, or you could see the Father and the Son as the adults and the inner child. So I'll let you take it as it resonates, but let's dive into this Son of Fire. You may have a child, or this could be your inner child. So I think that this Son of Fire, your inner child or a child, had a dream. And if you looked around at this moment in time and just slowly contemplated some of those dreams, how many of them have you taken at least a few grand steps towards the outcome that you've wanted? There's probably a lot of those dreams that are nearly fulfilled or fulfilled, more than you've given yourself credit for. So remember that you are where you dreamed of being. So maybe you've accomplished some sort of success, or maybe you embody that to a younger generation, or maybe you're in the spotlight in some way that you wanted to be. And you can see that he has his little drawings in front of him and his bow and arrow. So it's like there was a plan. You had it mapped out, and to some capacity, you've fulfilled it, and you're going to keep unraveling and manifesting. I think that another step in all of this is to have harmony within a romantic relationship. That seems to be very important to you. It could be marriage even. And if it's not that, it's just simply harmony within your home space. Feeling safe and secure within your home. Let's go ahead and pull out some oracle to conclude this message, and just to see if there's anything else that Spirit wants to convey before we move forward. And I can't stress enough, especially for the masculines that do listen to these readings and do the inner work, it's just very valued. You are valuable. You're seen. I know that there's not a lot of spaces where men are, allowed or given to embrace their inner worlds or their feelings and emotions. So especially talking about like healing and trauma work, it's not always valued. So it's definitely valued in this space, and I just thank you for showing up and even clicking on this video. So be proud of yourself. Pile number 3. I think you're someone who's meant to embody some sort of integrity or boundaries, especially to younger men, about what should be condoned. A lot of you are either in the public eye, or you will be in the public eye, or if it's not that, it's like in your community, you're well known. People know who you are. It could be even like in a small community, but they were like, that's Jill. We all know Jill. Or that's Ray. We know Ray. You know what I mean? People know who you are. You definitely could be a Leo. Let's get into these oracle cards. Someone likes Oreos. I just said Oreo. So we have dream sweet, sleep deep. Sleep that's deep and lasts till morn, wondrous dreams for days be reborn. Some of you guys are having dreams about past occurrences, or you're having significant dreams that you should maybe track. And remember, if you're feeling more tired than normal, take those opportunities to take a nap. We do a lot of cellular, energetic healing work in our sleep. So, take care of yourself. says, the only thing that is real is love. Shift your focus from the problem back to love. So if it's trauma that's keeping you from appreciating yourself, appreciating life, from doing the right thing, it might be because you're too focused in the past or on the issue. And that limitless perspective is found in feeling compassionate and feeling, more in your feminine qualities than your masculine qualities. You guys are a very masculine pile. So tap into that vibration of love a little bit more. We have forgiveness. Nothing can be gained by holding on to past disappointments. So again, this has to do with a relationship. Maybe you're wanting that oneness, that union, the feeling of feeling seen and heard, and maybe you want to provide just generally, provide support, provide nurturance. And if there is trauma or disappointments kind of lingering, you're going to feel shut down and blocked off. So we have, don't let pride get in the way. Leo full moon. And we're actually having a Leo full moon at the time that I am filming this. So it's very spot on. Make sure you look up the qualities of this moon, how you could utilize the energy. Do you need to write down some things that you want to release and then burn the paper? Do you need to set up a new appointment with your therapist to talk through some trauma? Do you need to call up your friend and have a little coffee date? Do you need to read a book and pick up a book and sit outside? It's time to move past resentments, any pride or egoic behaviors, and really focus on, again, shifting your attention off of the problem into how can I create a more loving and compassionate space for myself and for others. So the archetype that you're showing up as is very heavy, very, very heavy. And that's okay. We have light, we have dark, and right now you're in your dark, okay? And we associate actually darkness to masculinity, and unfortunately that is a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a farce, but it's I guess farce works. It's like a flipping of energies. Feminine energy is actually dark energy. Because feminine people have that tapped in spiritual energy to do this heavy healing work, and we have that naturally. We have to learn our more masculine traits versus men who have the more masculine traits naturally, and they have to learn their dark feminine traits on earth. So this venom can be generational trauma, it can be childhood trauma, it could be recent trauma, it could be anything creating this negative chip on your shoulder resentment. It could even be spiritual attachments. And we have a whole podcast episode on shadow work. Make sure you check that out if you want to go deeper into it. So then we also have the tear. Make sure you're crying and releasing emotion. Don't hold it in. Don't suppress. I always say, especially for the ladies listening, but men too, crying is like a beauty ritual. It's a part of your beauty and esteem rituals. Releasing your emotion is a part of purging, and it really cleanses your spirit and cleanses your aura. So really practice non-judgment, and not being critical. So you might be feeling really heavy and emotional. Move that energy in the best way you can, and make sure you're resting. Pile number 3. Any last things, Spirit? Also, pile number 3, it's better to be alone than it is to be in a codependent situation that could mimic any of your traumas. So congratulate yourself, even if it's lonely, even if it's hard, even if you feel isolated. You might get like a lot of superficial attention, and it may feel, again, like relationships start to feel like a burden, and maybe you want that harmony, that sense of harmony. So if you need to shift the vibe and you need to shift your alignment, remember, You can struggle alone. You don't have to struggle with someone else. So don't force connections that aren't helpful. Especially if it makes you see, if you're a man, it makes you see women in a poor light. If it triggers you, and vice versa. Like if you're a woman, don't force a connection if it makes you see men in a poor light. That's just not the right connection. So don't force anything, and really choose that compassion for everyone. Thank you, pile number 3. If this resonated, could you comment down below a lion's head? This is your embodiment of true masculine energy, true femininity, being, putting the ego in the back seat and being focused on that inner work so you can move beyond your traumas and live in your light. So comment down below that lion head, stand on business, and we're going to move on to pile number 4. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, like this video. It really means a lot to me. And again, thank you so much for being here, pile number 3. Oof. Pile number 4. Pile number 4. What's going on with pile number 4? I was not expecting this to take this long. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get on here. It's gonna be super quick. I got errands to run, things to do. And here I am, still on my live. Hello, pile number 4. You chose the Ethereal Visions Tarot. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Only take what resonates and leave the rest. So pile number 4, we're giving into way too much fear, way too much doubt, way too much projection. Time to start blocking out the haters, putting up your energetic boundaries, making sure you are practicing, your affirmations and believing in yourself to the max, because there's something that's plaguing you and it's not worth entertaining. It's an illusion, it's doubt, it's unreasonable, it's unrealistic, but maybe in this moment it's got you a little caught up, right? So I'm here to help you be discernful with your time and energy, and let's get our mind right together. I was hearing your energy is your currency, and I was also hearing I'm hearing generosity, to be in a generous energy. They're saying don't listen to no fables. So if there's people around you being deceitful or in a trickster energy, being deceptive, do not give in. I'm hearing read the room. So pile number 4, you might baffle people just a little bit. You might be a little shocking, a little jarring to people. If you're known to be that way, this is your confirmation. But there's something financial going on or on your mind, and it's putting you in two minds. It could have to do with your money, your stability, your long-term goals and efforts, and it could also have to do with family or pets or your pets or your parents. I almost said parents. And it's putting you into a state of indecision or fear. And Spirit's like, please do not mistake fear for reality. So this is the Two of Swords. This is the indecision. This is like, I'm in two minds about it. I'm not really sure. So you might be contemplative right now. And the best option is the option where you're going to get to be your fullest version. So if there's an option that you're considering where you would have to, I'm hearing ungrounded. Don't make the ungrounded decision. Make the grounded decision. What avenue is going to help me, or what choice is going to help me show up fully? So you might be taking on more tasks. You might be doing more things. And if that's going to make you more multidimensional and have the ability to show off your range, that's the avenue you need to take. And it might require embracing new creative ideas. It might require you to take new risks creatively, and that is important because you're supposed to show off your multiple sides. So don't dim down right now. Step in to the newness, especially if you have a new idea on your mind and you're like, I don't know if I should do it. It might not be the right time. And Spirit's like, oh, you should do it, because this is about you integrating a version of yourself that maybe you're not used to showing off, and you need to step into it fully. It might have to do with your career or work, and it might require you again to be stepping into something very new. And again, you have to protect anything new like a child. If it's an idea, if it's a job, if it's your money, you have to protect it like a child. So don't give in to people's projections. Don't give in to people's fear. Don't give in to your own fear, your own doubts. You just have to know, like literally how these hands are holding the pentacle. I'm here to protect my idea. And it might not be, it might not be in its fullest capacity yet. It might be in the early stages. It might have flaws. It might, have setbacks. And I have to be open to that. And I can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? I have to protect it. I have to nurture it. I have to let it grow. I have to water my seeds. So there is something that you're going to be celebrating in regards to this new beginning, or you are celebrating. And maybe you're afraid like it's not going to bring me the harvest that I'm looking for, or the people that I need to support it. And Spirit's like, maybe you already have it. Maybe it's already bringing you some sort of new chapter, harvest, potential, or friendship that you're looking for. So really don't give in to fear, because it's going to skew how you're viewing your reality. So this is like a wake-up call. This is what this reading feels like snap out of it. Is there stress around the circumstance or competition, competitiveness? Yes, there is. There might be multiple parties that are trying to project their perspectives or opinions, or fight for a position, or fight for the opportunity. And maybe this is putting you into a state where you are feeling incapable. Maybe you're not feeling ready. But I think that is the opposite of what you're supposed to take away from conflict at this time. What you should be taking away from the conflict is there may be people that you shouldn't be engaging with because it's drama. And if it's going to continue to be drama, it's a stagnated situation. So you're working on something, you want to be collaborative and joyful and celebratory about what you're working on and building your ideas. This stress and competition is creating this feeling of I'm not ready, or it's not ready, or it's not time. But really you're meant to shift into, what do I need to walk away from that is stagnating? What is this conflict revealing to me? And Spirit's like, don't be pessimistic about it. If it's stagnated, it's not going to grow. There's nothing to be pessimistic about, right? So this is like about maturing. And maybe there are parties that aren't there. And if you give into that projection, you're going to feel the same way, right? So make sure you're creating space when conflict arises. Don't participate in any fear-mongering or anything like this. Whatever you do creatively is really meant to be the focus. And doing that from a place of like sensuality, being cool about it, being relaxed, being calm, focusing on the beauty of it all, and embodying your own happiness towards whatever it is that you're protecting at this time. Because again, it seems like you want to be collaborative, you want to be supported, you want to have the right people in your corner. So acknowledge whatever's stagnating without giving into projection. That's what I'm picking up here. Let's get some more oracle. Spirit is saying there's fear of your own potential. There's fear of showing up fully. And they're like, just acknowledge it. There's nothing you need to do other than, again, creating that space from the things that are stagnating. But if you don't acknowledge it, that you can't do anything about it, you know? And there are other skills that you have that Spirit is like, give those attention to. You know, put them out there as well. Don't limit yourself to just one thing. So I had this same card come out in every single pile. So this full moon is really forcing people to do forgiveness work. And, you know, relationship work. Focusing on forgiving people that you may have been close with at one point, but it turns to like lovers to enemies or friends to enemies type of vibe here. So make sure you're doing that forgiveness work. And the more that you forgive, you're raising your standard and you're maturing. So it's like worth it. Super worth it. You're graduating some sort of lesson here, pile number 4. And you probably will either watch all the way through. 4s, you guys either watched all the way through or you listened to another pile. I know it for sure. So we have trust. I am safe. I am secure. In love I trust. My faith endures. So again, we were talking about that indecision and fear and being clouded. Right now is the time to lean into a little bit more endurance and trust. So make sure you're doing the things that make you feel safe at this time. Again, protecting your ideas, but also protecting yourself. We have forgiveness. Nothing can be gained by holding on to past disappointments. So this is the card that came out in every single pile. And it made me notice the staircase in the back. So that's elevating your consciousness. That's choosing the higher road. That's doing the inner work, doing your shadow work, forgiving people for you, not for them to continue to play in your face, right? That's the creating space aspect, but forgive them for you so you can move on and you can graduate the lesson. Okay, we have surrender to the divine. So there is some sort of detachment necessary. I think this full moon will remind you how to surrender if you feel like you don't understand what that means or that concept is new. especially when you're dealing with conflict, sometimes the best thing to do is give it to God, right? So give it to God, pile number 4. And here's the archetype you are showing up as. So we have the shadow and we have the animal. And together these two are really giving survival mode. And as you can see on this shadow work, or the shadow card, it almost looks like bullet wounds here, or like punctured paper. So our shadow shows us our wounded bits or our limitations, our fragmented bits. And we have an entire podcast episode on shadow work, so make sure you check that out if you want to go deeper. So pay attention to whatever's surfacing in with grace, with confidence, with compassion, not with criticism. Otherwise, you will send yourself into even more survival mode and fear. And then we have this animal card. So your instincts are really keen. You're a very street smart person. You're also very in touch with your animalistic abilities. So in touch with nature. You're keen to detail. You might read people's body, read their energy. Very visceral, very observant. So make sure you're using this primal energy for good and not to burn yourself out in fear and worry and doubt. You know, your instincts are there to warn you of things. And if you're living in a space of, conflict or fear, that survival mode is going to make you feel really burnt out. So it's a really positive archetype to be in, but paired with this shadow, it's like if you're not doing that shadow work, it can really amplify trauma, doubt, or fear, right? Let's get one last message. I'm hearing someone say that I'm proud of you, so I know you're going to graduate this lesson, Pile 4, and everything will really work out in your favor. So this card says, anything given by the Creator cannot be taken away by human beings. So especially if you feel like you're leaving behind a situation that is chaotic or stressful, remember, you're never losing anything. You're only gaining. You're only moving forward. Life is a upward spiral as long as you're doing that shadow work and committing to yourself and committing to the internal journey. And doing your trauma healing work, okay? This whole reading from top to bottom, from 1 to 4, was about trauma healing work. So that was the overall message. And thank you, Pile number 4, if you guys listened all the way through. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And comment down below a hot pepper, because there's a pepper growing on this card. And also, knowing that it's okay to move through spicy situations, difficulty, or even stress, and creating space, especially when you feel there are parties that are divisive, or I'm also hearing insecure. So if there's stagnation or neglectful situations and people, you aren't losing anything or missing out on anything. Someone needs to quit a job. There's a job that is creating more harm than good. So give it to God, Pile number 4. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tapping in with me. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys very soon. Hope you guys are doing well. If you are a person who's listened to my readings before, please let me know in the comments what you think about these readings. Give me your little review, and maybe I'll post them on my socials. That would make me really happy. Let me know how I'm doing. All right, I'll see you guys soon, and have a great day, night, evening. That's my OG saying, so I'll say that. Have a great day, night, evening. Peace out, y'all.